Howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast 249. Yeah, we're cranking right through summer. Wow, it is just flying by. I hope you are having a great one, able to go out and shoot to your heart's content, making those stories come true, sharing them with others. Hey, thanks for dropping by and spending a little time with me today. I do appreciate all your support. I do love your emails, and thank you so much for the kind words, all of you who send them in. It means a lot to me, so thank you. Also want to thank my good friends at Bedford Camera, bedfords.com. I think I'm a little jealous because of late, I've gotten a whole lot more emails from folks thanking me for turning them on to Bedford than actually going to be a question. Yeah, I appreciate that, but hey, Moose needs a little love too. But I do appreciate you sharing the love with Bedford. Great folks. They are working with me at the end of the month, bringing a one-of-a-kind aviation seminar. They'll be online and in person, broadcast simultaneously as I teach in the classroom. So I appreciate them putting up with me and helping me and sponsoring all this. Appreciate all you who signed up, and those of you who haven't, what are you waiting for? There's going to be some great specials that day, but you can get one all the time by using that special discount code, MOOSE. So make sure you check out bedfords.com. Thank them. Take advantage of their expertise and their huge inventory. Well, let's get right to this week's topic, Camera Care 101. I haven't actually done a podcast quite like this, and I thought it was time because I keep seeing and hearing and reading about things that just make me shudder. The love our camera gear doesn't receive that it duly needs to keep functioning. Now, knock on wood, in all my decades, I've never had camera gear go down. It just has always worked. And I think in large part, it's my dad's old pounding in my head lesson of taking care of my equipment, my tools, is how I see cameras. Now, I'm going to start off with a story that kind of covers all this camera care or maintenance or love I'm preaching to you this week. Has to do with my favorite cleaning solution, Pink Juice, also known in the industry as Lens Cleanse. I started using this amazing product back in 1979, learning about it from my favorite camera repair person. And I would be at his workbench watching him repair. So I learned a bunch of trivia. And the one product he constantly used was Pink Juice. And I've been advocating it ever since. And I use it on every camera surface except for the sensor. Do not put it on the sensor. Don't even get close. But I use it everywhere else, especially on optics and all the exterior parts. Now, the manufacturer, great people, they have a warning on their website because this is America and you don't like the way things work. And if it's not your fault, it has to be somebody else's. And it's a basic disclaimer. It talks about that if you were to soak your product, your camera, whatever, in this product, just like if you were to soak it in regular soda, it will cause issues. For example, the adhesive that holds the leatherette on cameras. Adhesive, how do you think they get it off to repair your camera? Well, they soak it in a product, not this one, but something made specifically. Well, so because of that, people don't read instructions, period, and problems can happen. And every time I mention Pink Juice, he gets a flood of calls and emails, and so do I, saying there's a warning on the website. Here it is, folks. There's a warning. You can take this one of two ways. One, Moose has been using this product since 1979 on everything camera gear, sunglasses, computer monitors, keyboards. I use it to clean stuff. I use it in space to clean stuff. It works great, okay? Or you could read that warning and go crazy and worry about it. Your choice. So everything I'm about to talk about camera care is up to you. You have gray matter between your ears. You can use it as you decide works best for you, and that's fine. I am going to tell you what I do, how I use it, what I think about, and know that that's what I'm using. All right. And I've never had camera gear go down. I'm going to start off with really the most obvious, the battery. Couple things about batteries. If you have a DSLR, like an F5, not film days here, but it did apply to F5s. I'm talking about a D5, that's Delta 5, or a D6. Any of the Nikon flagship cameras with those big batteries, the charger has a little button that says recal, which is short for recalibrate. I know a lot of people who just push that button randomly because they think it's there, they should use it, and then for hours and hours and hours, the battery is on the charger. Stop wasting electricity. Stop shortening the life of your battery. You go inside the camera. There is in the shooting menu a thing called battery info. You click on that and it will tell you if you need to recalibrate your battery. If it does not say recalibrate, don't recalibrate. Stop wasting electricity, okay? It's real simple. As I was taught way back when I was working on cars, that the designers and engineers, they put a part in there is for a reason. Might not be obvious, but there's a reason. They put a little thing in the battery info that says to calibrate for a reason. If it doesn't say recalibrate, don't push the button. But what about those batteries? How often should you charge them? Darn good question. Two things I think about. One, how long am I going to use that camera battery? How long am I going to use that body over the life of the time I have it? And how many times am I going to recharge it? Now, the little batteries that go in like the D850 or D750 or the Z bodies. First thing I do with any battery I get is I write the date on the battery I bought it. That way I start knowing how old it is. Batteries, yes, can stop holding a charge, can stop, accepting a charge. That's kind of important. I have a lot of batteries. When they're done, they go to the recycling. They get recycled. How do I know when that happens to be? Well, batteries these days seem to be going on and on. I haven't taken any batteries from the Z, the D850 or D750 to recycling. They're still working just fine. How often do I charge them? I tend to charge the batteries when the camera battery meter is only got about a bar left. A bar left, or I always think of as quarter tank of like gasoline, or they turn red. That's when I charge them. I don't necessarily charge them every night. It depends what I think I'm going to do the next day for shooting. So, for example, I was just back from Arizona photographing hummingbirds. What a great week. Actually, that was just a marvelous, marvelous week. Really good people. It was just a lot of fun. Well, I shot with the D6. I never put the battery in the charger until the very last night. I just kept using it. It never went down. So why beat it up? You just look at the battery info. It tells you where you're at. Now, the Z batteries, I was shooting a lot of slow-mo video. And that just chews up batteries. So I would put the battery in when I saw it turn red, and it'd be ready to go in a few hours. So you don't have to be paranoid about batteries, other than the fact that you just want to make sure that if you're going to do heavy hitting, that they're fully charged. And if you're not, don't need to worry about it so much. Now, one thing about the sensor, when it comes to sensor and battery electricity, they can get hot. Now, it's only happened to me twice. It's sadly, or I think it's funny now. Both times I had Jake shooting with me, and we were sharing one point a tent at Osh, and another time hotel room. And I had cleaned the sensor of my D body and left the mirror locked up after cleaning it. Well, unless you do this really stupid thing, would you know about it? But there's a bloody alarm that goes off. The camera screams bloody murder. And both times, like I said, Jake was with me, was when we had to get up really early in the morning, and then the night's sleep, what limited we got, was interrupted by that alarm. So sensors can get hot. That's the one instance like that I know of, and I happen to be the one that did it. Didn't hurt the sensor. You just have to turn it off and then, of course, charge the battery because you just wanked it out by leaving the mirror locked up and it open all night. Z bodies, if you pound the bejiggers out of them, you will sometimes get a warning that it's warm. That's, it happens if you're shooting that much with it. Take the battery out of the chamber, let it cool down a second, and then go back to shooting. So that battery, keep mindful of it, but it'll do a really great job for you. How about simple thing like viewfinder dust? Simple thing. If you're photographing a DSLR and you see dust, it's not on the sensor. It's in the viewfinder. Some D bodies, you can actually pop out the screen and clean the screen, get dust out. But if you're looking through the viewfinder of a D6 or a D850 or a D500 and you see dust, it's not on the sensor. It's in the pentaprism, inside the mirror. Now, if you are shooting a Z or a mirrorless body and you see dust, that is on the sensor, okay? So there is the difference. Got a mirror body, you see dust, it's not on the sensor. You got a mirrorless body, you see dust, it's on the sensor. Remember, if you're going to clean that sensor, you got to be really careful. That's because it's on that very sensitive gimbal that gives you that incredible image stabilization inside the system. If you got to clean the sensor and you got to touch it, remember to pop that battery out of the chamber, turn the camera on, hold down that shutter release and bleed off any electricity that's in there before you clean it. Now, cleaning the sensor, people are worried about that. And if you go in there like a gorilla, you should be. You need to go in there like a ballet dancer with the lightest of touch. There's a number of videos on the Moose YouTube channel. The latest one, that's the one you want to watch. It's the most current. The one thing I'm going to recommend to you is that your swab will come in a plastic wrapper. Use it in that wrapper to practice. Practice how much pressure you're putting down on that swab and then, of course, onto the sensor. That plastic, you want to barely curl it with pressure. Yeah, it's that light. Heavy-handed, it's not a good thing. You want to go down light. Two reasons. One, that light touch will guarantee you're not hurting any mechanism inside. But more importantly, two, you're not going to leave a whole lot of residue. You're not going to smear that sensor. You're just going to clean off the dust and not leave anything else to come back on. So the lighter the touch, the better you're going to be. Last thing I want to touch on is your basic camera care when you get done shooting. So every day I use my camera gear, that night it's going to be out of the camera bag, it's going to be out in the basic room temperature. And once it gets to that room temperature, excuse me, I'm all choked up on this topic. Anyway, once it gets to that room temperature, that's when you want to clean it. And I'm talking about all the surfaces. They're hard to find anymore, but clean white cotton t-shirts are my favorite favorite cleaning cloth. I'm going to put pink juice on that cloth, and then I'm going to clean all the surfaces, especially the camera body, especially after working around aircraft, because the hand gets oily, that oil gets transferred to the leatherette, and then it just gets to be a mess because the leatherette sucks up dust. The key here is that whether you shot that day or you've been gone for a week trip like I just came back from, the gear was going to sit out in the room most of the time. For myself, when I come back from a trip, it's going to be overnight, maybe 2, and it's going to sit there and it's going to get acclimated to where I live, and then I'm going to go in and clean it. I'm talking about using a white towel to clean out the exterior surface. I'm talking about Q-tips to get all the cracks and the crevices. I'm using pink juice to do all that. And if you want to watch all this illustrated, go to the Kelby One channel. I did a whole hour-long class on this basic camera care. I mean, it's real simple, folks. These are your tools. Basic 101 care. You'll have that tool operating for you as long as you want to use it, and then even some more after that. Keep it in mind. Basic Camera Care 101. Good stuff. You folks have a great week. Get out there and shoot. And remember to make every click your story.